When it comes to a diesel truck, it's hard to decide. Do I go cheap and get an older diesel that might be more reliable? Or do I go expensive and get a newer diesel with all the bells and whistles on it? Well, I've owned them all and seen them all. And today in this video, I'm gonna be showing the best truck to drive, ride, and buy in 2024.
6.0, 6.7, and 7.3. Those are the three Powerstroke that I've owned and driven myself and am currently driving as I speak. And if I haven't driven it, I've probably filmed it or seen it. So here's what I'm gonna be breaking down for this video. Number one, the sound. Which one sounds the best? Number two, reliability. Which one isn't gonna leave you stranded? Number three is power. Which one puts down more horsepower on the dyno? Number four is towing capabilities. Which one will tow the most weight? And number five is going to be my personal preference, what I actually like about the truck, and which one you should buy in 2024. So a quick backstory, I started my channel about 3 years ago, and I started out with the 7.3 Powerstroke. Built my channel off of that truck, and that was my baby. That was my daily driver. I loved that truck. I got it all the way to 500K, and unfortunately, we all know what happened there. Now I moved on to the 6.7 Powerstroke, bought a whole new 6.7, and I've got about 10,000 miles on this truck, and I've got to say this is one of my favorite trucks so far, reliability and everything. Knock on wood, nothing has gone wrong yet, and it has just been great. It's a comfortable ride. The ride is great, the sound is great, the comfortability is great, and everything around reliability so far is amazing. So what I'm daily driving now that wasn't enough for me. I wanted something else. I wanted something bigger for the channel. I wanted a project build for the channel that I can build out for you guys, and I bought a 6.0 Powerstroke. I'm starting to slowly dislike the 6.0 Powerstroke, and I'll get into that later in the video, but I've been driving that truck now for about 1,000 miles, and I have to say it is definitely a rowdy, fun rig to drive. So there's a lot of things wrong with it. That is what I'm gonna be touching on later in this video. I'm gonna be breaking down each category that I said earlier in the video about each truck. So first, the sound. Now when it comes to sound, the 6.0 Powerstroke, I'm not gonna lie, I might piss a couple people off, but I don't really think that the sound is there for the 6.0 Powerstroke. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the 6.0 Powerstroke when it is fully built. So let's say turbos, the motor's done up, and everything is done to the 6.0 Powerstroke. That's when you start to get that really badass machine gun sound. But with just a delete and tune, I was not very impressed with the 6.0 Powerstroke. It was not louder than the 7.3, and it wasn't even close to the 6.7. For the same amount of mods, just a delete and tune, the 6.7 is 2 times louder, maybe even 3 times louder than the 6.0. The 6.7, if I drive by you hauling ass, you're gonna have to plug your ears. It's that loud, especially on these 15 models, the 2015 models and up. They're just so ungodly loud and just so rowdy that like they're so much better sounding than the 6.0 with just a delete and tune. Remember guys, just a delete and tune. I do believe that the 6.0 sounds better when it has a bunch of stuff done to it, but if you were to do the same stuff on the 6.7 as you were doing to the 6.0, I do think that the 6.7 has the one up on the 6.0 a little bit. Now when it comes to the 7.3, it is an all-around rowdy rig, just an absolute great truck to drive. I modded my truck out too as well. I put a tune on it, daily drove it every day. I put a straight pipe, a 5-inch turbo back on it. I did the whole works to my 7.3, and I've got to say I absolutely love that truck. But I don't think the sound was better than my 6.7 Powerstroke because I have this truck with the 5-inch turbo back now, and the 5-inch turbo back on this truck versus the 7.3 doesn't compare at all, unfortunately. Now the 5-inch turbo back on the 6.0 versus the 7.3, the sounds are kind of similar, but for some reason just the 6.0 doesn't have that deep rumble that the 7.3 does, and it just doesn't get as loud as the 7.3 does with just a 5-inch turbo back and tune, guys. That is what I'm going off of here. I'm not going off of if you have a turbo done to it, because I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh, 6.0 sounds so good with the turbo and everything like that. I'm going off of just a delete and tune. The 6.0 does not sound as good as the 7.3, let's be honest. The 7.3 I'm gonna put right between the 6.0 and the 6.7 as for sound per se. So for the sound on the 6.0, I gotta give it a 7 out of 10 on the star rating. For the sound on the 7.3, I gotta give it a 8.5 out of 10 stars on the sound rating. And then for the sound on the 6.7, I have to give it a 9.5 star out of the star rating just because it sounds so freaking good. Now for reliability. So far I have 10K miles that I've driven on this truck and 190,533 miles the 6.7 Powerstroke has been driven. There's 2 owners, me and a previous owner. That being said, everything has been running great, knock on wood. No problems whatsoever with the 6.7. I only have a level and a tune and a weight reduction. So that's it. It is run great. Everything's good. I'm getting 18.6 miles per gallon city and highway. So absolutely insane miles per gallon. Great fuel mileage, runs great. Reliability wise, I do think the 7.3 beats it barely. This truck does make up with the bells and whistles and comfortability and everything and ride difference. I do think the 7.3's got a little bit. Now that being said, the 7.3 only makes 275 horsepower, so it's hard to break something when you only make 275 horsepower. There's not enough horsepower to really make it unreliable. That's why the 7.3 is what they call so reliable, because it's very hard to break something when you're pushing negative horsepower. That brings me into the 6.0 though. So if you want to get horsepower but not reliability, go with the 6.0. You can definitely top out horsepower a lot higher than a lot of the newer diesels and even the older diesels if you buy a 6.0 Powerstroke. However, that comes with its consequences, guys. The 6.0 6.0 Powerstroke is absolutely horrendous for reliability. I think my 6.0 Powerstroke, it's got everything you can name on it is wrong with it. It's got oil leak, it's got a water pump leak, it has front half shafts out, no speedometer, it's got every single problem in the books, and it's only got 189,000 miles. So it's got less miles than my 6.7 Powerstroke does, and it's got a list of fucking problems with it. I don't even think the 7.3 had as bad of problems at 500,000 miles than the 6.0 does at a fifth of the miles that the 7.3 did. So if you're looking for reliability, go with the 7.3, but if you're looking for sound and power, go with the 6.7. So for the rating on reliability, I give the 7.3 a 9.2 out of 10 stars, I give the 6.7 a 8.9 out of 10 stars, and I give the 6.0 a lousy 4.5 out of 10 stars. Just a very bad truck with the 6.0. If you're looking for reliability, do not buy a 6.0. Third one is power. Now this is the fun one, guys, because power is where every single diesel enthusiast is looking for. Everybody wants power, 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 power. How to make that power is where you're really going to buy the right truck for yourself. So if you're looking for a project truck that is pushing power, a 6.0 Powerstroke is great. You can put numbers down on the dyno with the 6.0 Powerstroke, and you can build that top speed to absolutely insane numbers. Now the 6.7 Powerstroke, you can do pretty much the same thing, but not like the 6.0 Powerstroke, where if you build that truck out, you get the sound, you get the power, you get everything done with the 6.0 Powerstroke, and you can actually make those pretty reliable if they are bulletproof. You got to sink a lot of money in to make it a very fast vehicle. When it comes to power though, I do have to say that just to delete and tune on the 6.0 and the 6.7, they are pretty similar in speed, I'm not gonna lie. So when I did the 6.0 delete and tune, it was pretty similar to when I did the 6.7 delete and tune. So they're pretty similar when it comes to power and speed, but when it comes to reliability and all the other things, basically done for. Power on the 7.3 though, just dog shit, like the worst power you can imagine. I would never ever buy a 7.3 for power. I would buy it strictly for reliability. You only push about 275 horsepower to the factory on the 7.3, you push about 440 horsepower on the 6.7, and then you push about 350 horsepower, I believe, out of the factory on the 6.0. So you get about 100 more horsepower out of the factory on the 6.0, which gives you a better starting point to actually mod out that truck and make it a little bit faster and give you more power when you're putting numbers down on the dyno. So for the star rating, the 7.3, I give a 4.5 out of 10 stars for power, just not very powerful. I try to build out a 7.3 and you're just not going to get the numbers that you are going to get on a 6.0 or a 7 or a 6.7. So that gets a 4.5 out of 10. The 6.0, I give an 8 out of 10 stars just because the power was there when I delete and tune it, and there's so much more stuff I can do to this truck to make it actually very powerful. So we got a ton of stuff to work on, and we can actually make that truck very freaking fast, loud, and powerful. The 6.7 though, that one you don't have to do very much to make it as fast as the 6.0 or below the 6.0 fully loaded out of the water. So I gave that one a little bit step above the 6.0 at 9.1 stars out of 10, just because it is so freaking powerful out of the factory. You get 440 horsepower, 100 horsepower more than the 6.0 is out of the factory. So your baseline starting point is so much better. Now for the towing capabilities. If you're looking to tow heavy loads, the 6.7 is your go-to. This thing is an absolute tow pig. You can tow 20,000 pounds with absolute ease. If you're looking to tow lighter loads and make it to your destination, the 7.3 is definitely your way to go. I've towed pretty good amounts with that. I've towed over 11,000 pounds with the 7.3 and have had no issues with it whatsoever. Very reliable rig that I could tow small amounts with. But the 6.0, on the other hand, that is something I would never ever recommend towing with, especially if you have a high mile 6.0. Unless you bulletproof that truck or make it a little bit more reliable, then I would not recommend towing with it. I've heard of people towing with it, and that's totally fine. You do you. But me personally, I would just never ever tow with that rig just because of how sketchy it is. Let's just say you might not make it to your destination if you tow with the 6.0. The 6.0 is why I just make it a fun project truck, because don't tow with it, just make it a fun project truck. And don't buy one if you're looking to daily drive it. On the star rating, I give the 6.0 a 5 out of 10 stars on the towing rating. For the 7.3, I give it a 7.5 out of 10 stars on the towing rating. And then for the 6.7, I give it a 9.5 out of 10 stars. This thing is just an absolute tow pig, guys. On to my personal preferences. What do I myself like to drive? If I'm looking for something fun that I can street race with, the 6.0 is something I'm picking up and I'm putting the keys in. But looking to put numbers down on the dyno as well, the 6.0 Powerstroke is my way to go. If you're looking for reliability and just need to tow some small loads around town, and you're looking to just get better fuel mileage, drive the truck around town and not really do much, I guess, street racing or towing heavy loads or anything like that, the 7.3 is the way to go. You can still tow heavy loads, but when it comes to actually towing anything like massive, the 7.3 is going to limit you a lot when it comes to the horsepower. Now, the 6.7, if you got pockets deeper than the Grand Canyon, 6.7 is your go-to. I bought this truck for $31,000, absolutely insane price. It had $180,000 when I bought it. If you're looking for something that eat into your pockets, but it's got all the bells and whistles, can tow everything, blows all the trucks out of the water, then the 6.7 7 is definitely the way to go. If you guys want to pick up the Diesel Dudes Delete Kit, it'll be in the description down below. Also, any Powerstroke Central merch is also in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.